When you think of 3D Mario platformers, what's the first one that comes to mind? Is it the newest one, Super Mario Odyssey? Or maybe you're into retro games and Super Mario 64 is just the definitive 3D Mario experience for you. Maybe you grew up with the Nintendo Wii and Mario Galaxy games just hold that special place in your heart. Regardless of what you think of, first, if you're watching this video, then one thing we can all agree on is that 3D Mario games are some of the gaming industry's finest creations. This is where my opinion may start to differ from yours though. The first 3D Mario game that comes to my mind is Super Mario Sunshine because damn it, it's just my favorite. What can I say? And now that you can play Super Mario Sunshine on the Switch, I can finally fulfill my lifelong dream of playing Mario Sunshine on the beach. I need help. Super Mario Sunshine, while still holding an overwhelmingly positive score on Metacritic, is consistently ranked towards the bottom of the scale relative to the other 3D Mario games, both on Metacritic and in random ranking lists you may find across the internet and YouTube. It's okay to have whatever opinion you may have about 3D Mario games, and I'm not going to try to tell you that Super Mario Sunshine is objectively better than all the other 3D Mario games that consistently score higher than it. But what I do want to explain is why it's my personal favorite, which I think I have some pretty good reasons for, outside of just being blinded by nostalgia. That said, before we jump into this, if you could leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, that would be greatly appreciated as we try to defeat the almighty YouTube algorithm. To start things off, let's take a look at how the story opens up in Super Mario Sunshine. This game approaches things just a little bit differently than most of the other entries in the 3D Mario series. The game opens up on Mario, Peach, and Toadsworth on a private flight to Isle Delfino, where they will be getting a much-needed vacation from all the brutal politics of the Mushroom Kingdom. Or so they think. When their plane touches down at the airport, they're greeted by a disgusting, goopy mess all over the landing strip. In the distance, Peach notices a shadowy figure that looks kind of like Mario. Then with this, we take our first steps into this unexpected adventure through Isle Delfino. Shortly after taking control of Mario, we pick up Flood, who is a robot water hose created by Professor Egad, and we use him to clean up that initial goop monster on the landing strip. After winning this battle and cleaning off some of the surrounding civilians, we pick up our first Shine Sprite, which replaced the Power Stars from Super Mario 64. The game has a total of 120 Shine Sprites, and you'll need to collect every single one of them for 100% completion, but we'll get to that later. After taking care of business at the airport, Mario gets arrested out of nowhere. In court, we find out that not only was the landing strip covered in this goop, but so's the rest of Isle Delfino, causing the Shine Sprites, which provide the sunlight to Isle Delfino, to flee the Shine Gate. The Pianta police officers mistakenly arrested Mario as the prime suspect in this vandalism and defacing of public property case, but of course, any player who wasn't completely asleep or incapacitated in some form during the opening scene of the game should realize that the true culprit is that mysterious Shadow Mario we saw at the airport. The judge declares that to clear his name, Mario must clean up the entire island and get the lost Shine Sprites back. With the mystery of Shadow Mario looming over the game still, and a concrete reason to hunt down the Shine Sprites and clean up Isle Delfino, this is reason number one why I think Super Mario Sunshine is just a cut above the rest. Although the gameplay mechanics are usually the larger concern for whether or not a Mario platforming game performs well, some solid exposition can do a lot to make the rest of the game feel that much more interesting. The story premise in this game is just so unique compared to some of the other basic storylines we've gotten in other Mario games, where Peach is just basically kidnapped right out of the gate, and the only aim of the entire game is to just go get her back. Of course, Shadow Mario, who we eventually find out is Bowser Jr. through one of gaming's greatest twists, does eventually kidnap Peach, claiming that she is his mama. You know, Peach actually kind of reacts to this in a way that makes it seem like this is actually a possibility. So I don't know what's going on there, but something definitely happened between Peach and Bowser. While we're on the topic of weird Mario lore, it's definitely worth pointing out that since Professor Egad is responsible for both the paintbrush that Bowser Jr. is using to deface the entire island, and Flood, which Mario is using to actually clean up this mess, we can conclude that this entire game is basically just the result of one of Professor Egad's 6 science experiments. What a champ. Point is, This kidnapping comes after a little bit of mystery and suspense about who or what exactly Shadow Mario is, rather than having it happen straight out of the gate like it does in most of the other games. Super Mario Galaxy, which is an amazing game and actually has the highest rating on Metacritic of any 3D Mario game, has a fairly straightforward story. There's a festival at the beginning of the game in the Mushroom Kingdom, and surprise, surprise, Bowser shows up and steals Peach. As unique as the rest of the elements of this game are, like having to collect power stars to charge up Rosalina's starship to reach the center of the universe so we can even fight Bowser in the first place, all these things are done with one goal in mind of simply saving Peach. In Mario Sunshine, even though our goal ends up turning into saving Peach, there are these other goals in mind from the start of the game as well, like clearing Mario's name in court, or cleaning up Isle Delfino, and restoring it to the vacation paradise it's supposed to be, and bringing the sunlight back to the island by collecting the Shine Sprites. Having a multi-layered story like this is something that I think is awesome, and something that I definitely think sets this game apart from some of the other 3D Mario games. More important than the story for a game that's entirely based around platforming is, of course, the gameplay itself. This is where the water gets a little murkier for Super Mario Sunshine in terms of general public opinion. This game takes all of the platforming elements from Super Mario 64 and improves upon them. This is evident if you play these two games back to back. The platforming in Mario 64 can feel a bit clunkier in comparison, but that's par for the course for a game that came out in 1996. I've actually heard people say that they feel that the opposite is true, and that Super Mario Sunshine is the clunkier experience. And to that, I would just like to point out that every time you start running in Mario 64, it feels like Mario forgot how to use his legs. Super Mario Sunshine's core gameplay gimmick is FLUDD, your robotic water hose friend who we mentioned earlier in the video. Something that's cool about FLUDD is that not only do you use him as a water gun to spray down the goop and defeat many of the game's enemies, but he has different attachments that make it so that you can use him in a few different ways. The hover nozzle lets you use FLUDD as a jetpack to hover over long gaps. The turbo nozzle is like a jet boat propeller that lets you rip around Isle Delfino at crazy high speeds, both on land and in the water. And the rocket nozzle lets you perform some insanely high jumps. You would literally need to hack the other 3D Mario games in order to acquire movement options like these. Some people don't enjoy the fact that many of the levels are designed around FLUDD and feel that it takes away from the pure platforming experience, but my feelings are sort of the opposite on this matter. The various nozzles allow for all sorts of different unique level designs that you need the different nozzles to complete, but also opens up a lot of room for creativity from the player, as you can decide what the best method might be for grabbing Shine Sprites that might not have an obvious nozzle requirement. Classic platforming without FLUDD is not completely absent from this game, as there are hidden stages where Shadow Mario steals FLUDD from you on your way through the portal. And for the parts of the game where you are using FLUDD, you still have to have a basic understanding of the platforming mechanics of the game in order to succeed. On top of that, FLUDD actually has a finite amount of water he can shoot before you need to seek out some way to refill him in a nearby body of water or sprinkler, further adding to the challenge of the game. Not only does this game require solid platforming skills, but it requires resource management skills in a way that none of the other games really do, and I personally enjoy that added challenge. FLUDD adds a whole new layer to the gameplay that takes time to master, in the same way that Cappy adds a layer to Mario Odyssey, and how the Luma in Mario's hat adds a layer to Mario Galaxy. On the topic of gameplay, I will admit that there are some levels that are a little rough around the edges. Trying to get the blue coins in Corona Mountain using the lava boat is absolutely broken. And who could forget the infamous pachinko board level? That one is absolute f***ing bullshit. For players who like to 100% complete the games they play, Super Mario Sunshine offers a unique challenge for a 3D Mario game. Collecting all 120 Shine Sprites sounds straightforward enough, especially when you see how quickly you can start to accrue them as you bulldoze your way through the early stages of the game. Some Shine Sprites are more hidden than others. Most of them are the reward for completing a clearly designed objective, but others are just kind of randomly hidden in the sand or on walls, and you have to spray them with FLUDD to uncover them, like the one I'm showing here. This is all fine and good, but there are actually only 96 Shine Sprites to grab by these normal means. The other 24 you need to reach that magical 120 number have to be purchased for 10 blue coins a pop from this Tanuki fella who has absolutely taken advantage of the dire situation to flip Shine Sprites for profit. This guy's worse than Tom Nook. This is where the real challenge arises, and is definitely what keeps a large percentage of people from 100%ing the game. These blue coins are scattered throughout every single level in the game, and you're going to need 240 of them to officially seal the deal and return every Shine Sprite to the Shine Gate in Isle Delfino. These coins can be hidden in plain sight, they can be hidden behind paint markings on walls that you need to clean, they can be found by defeating certain enemies, some of them are even obtained by helping random NPCs with mini quests, and they can even be found by spraying random fixtures within the levels that don't even seem to be inviting a burst of water from FLUDD. It could literally be anywhere, and what makes it even harder is that there's no real checklist to keep track of which specific blue coins you've picked up already. All you really know is the total amounts of the blue coins located in each world. Making things even more complicated is the fact that some blue coins are only available in specific missions in their respective worlds. So you could search every inch of a world and not find every blue coin if you're not exploring it during the correct mission. When I explain it that way, it makes the whole process sound pretty brutal, and it can be. I'd be lying if I said I 100% this game every single time I come back to it, but there is something about the blue coin hunt that I, as a certified psychopath, thoroughly enjoy, and it has a lot to do with the world design of the game. I think the art style and happy summer vacation vibes this game gives off more than make up for the blue coin hunt to 100% the game. To be honest, it's for this reason that this is the only 3D Mario game that I've consistently come back to every couple of years since its release. You would think that a game where every level takes place on the same island would lack variety in terms of design, but Sunshine definitely does not. From the fancy downtown area of Delfino Plaza, to the haunted beachside resort at Gelato Beach, to the oh so incredibly dangerous Pinna Park. Seriously, who the would take their kids here? To jumping around the ropes course and exploring the cliffsides of Noki Bay, every area in this game legitimately feels fresh and unique, even though they are all a part of the same vacation island. This just speaks to the incredible world design. The blue coin hunt just gives you more of an excuse to scour the entire world from top to bottom and spend more time enjoying it. On top of the world design, you have the quirky inhabitants that help add a lot to the charm of the environment. This is the first time we meet characters like Piantas and Nokis, who have become recurring characters in other Mario games since. We also have our first ever showdown with Petey Piranha in this game, who also makes his way into future Mario titles both as a boss and playable character. Everything down to the music does a great job of immersing you in this summer experience, and for that, I constantly find myself craving a quick little visit to Isle Delfino. And that wraps up my thoughts about Super Mario Sunshine. Is it a perfect game? Absolutely not, but all of its unique quirks are part of what makes it so charming. Honestly, the same could be said about a lot of the games that were released during the GameCube era. I love having excuses to dive back into the old retro Nintendo library, so if you'd like to hear me talk about some other classic or offbeat Nintendo games, let me know which ones you'd like to see in the comments below. Did I mention that this game has voice acting?
What's this icky paint-like goop? It's moving!
Now, boys, don't touch that stuff.
Junior, I've got something difficult to tell you about Princess Peach.
I know, she's not really my mama.
Yeah, this game has voice acting.